My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
And I'm Natalia. And as you can see, there's just two of us, which
Where are
means
you?
it's time the other way, which means there's time for one thing and one thing only. That's right, baby. It's the hit list. Welcome back. It's been a while. Now, full disclosure. Full disclosure. This wasn't actually the episode we were supposed to do this week.
It's not.
As has been like a bit of a theme, life really do be kicking people's asses.
This year, 2 years.
Basically, we had an episode, like Amanda's still in her course, and Sky, Jessie, and I had an episode we were gonna record for this week. But then Sky had a family thing, and then there was just the two of us. And like the episode we were gonna do really worked with 3, less so with 2.
Yeah.
So we were chatting, as we do, texting one another.
We gotta figure out our schedule,
Gotta figure things out. And I was like, hey, you know what I've always thought we should do, but we've never done, and it's been
at least not a full episode.
Not a full episode.
Did a little.
Yeah, we did. We would mention it occasionally, but we've never dedicated an episode to something near and dear to our hearts that also is not timely, but is timely because Lee Dong-wook just has a new show coming out, but we don't want to talk about Lee Dong-wook's new show.
No, we don't. We
kind of
care, but not right now.
Listen, at this
moment in time, we don't care.
I'm so happy he made another rom-com.
Yes,
that's great for him. But we want to talk about his most romantic role that he's ever had. Playing an upstanding member of the community.
Just really almost like a puppy dog following.
Yes, just like really a simp, the real simp energy.
Yeah.
You can feel the romance.
Yeah.
And I'm talking
a little bit of an age gap.
Well, just a little bit, but not too bad. Everyone's adults. It's all above board.
Yeah, that's fine.
Romance-wise.
Yeah.
And for all of you BL girlies,
this is it.
You could call it a BL if you really believed in your hearts.
You don't even have to believe
No, this isn't like a devil judge situation. Like this isn't subtext, this is text, you know?
Yeah,
and we're talking about the most romantic drama ever made.
Ever.
Strangers from Hell. That's right, baby. We're finally doing it. We're doing a Strangers from Hell episode. Which, like, here's the thing. I always love when we do these, like, meandering intros to what we're doing. Because the title
already out.
Is, like, people know what they're watching when they click play.
You make the, like, photos for social media. It has them
in it. Like, I can't... This isn't like, we can't pull off like an elaborate prank where we're like, oh, we're going to do like a Lee Dong-wook. No.
We could at some point, but like, that's not what, it's just there. Like,
listen, we've touched upon Lee Dong-wook before many times.
Many times.
He's
a fave of the
group.
Entire group.
The entirety of
Didn't
Nunas.
all of us pick him?
All of us in a head-to-head would you rather Lee Dong-wook on you, which real Sophie's choice there.
Yeah.
Every single one of us picked Lee Dong-wook. Not because we don't like Gong Yoo. We do. But we just really like Lee Dong-wook. And he like doesn't really appear in this for a couple of episodes, but then he does appear in this. He appears in this.
He really takes it to another level. I really like also that we're doing this episode with both of us having not watched it
in like 2 years.
Here's
the thing.
COVID?
It came out in 2019, and I've definitely watched it twice. So I watched it when it was first airing, and then I watched it again because I liked it so much.
I don't think I've watched it twice, but I feel like maybe I've watched a couple of episodes twice.
So it used to be on Netflix, which is where I watched it. So
because it's an OCN.
Yes, it's an OCN drama. Rip.
Yeah.
I love that I always do the sign of the cross. Not religious. Regardless. not even raised Catholic. There's no reason for me to be doing this. But so I went on a little bit of a journey before we started this situation.
Yeah.
And my little journey was, where can you watch Stranger
I know where you can watch it.
Yeah. In Canada, this answer was a little trickier than you would think. And so the answer that finally in Canada where you can watch it, the only place, well, there are two places. One, if you pay money, you can watch it on like Apple TV.
Oh, like for like a, like a rental or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Prime, maybe, son, but that might be in America. But I did discover that they're like, oh yeah, it's on On-Demand Korea. It's on On-Demand Korea. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I went. This is
subtitled.
Yeah, no. Okay, no, just stay with me because I went on a journey, and this is very important information for people looking to watch this show. So I went to On-Demand Korea on my browser on my iPad, and it didn't have subtitles. And I was like, but it said that it did, but the subtitles weren't working. And then it was like, you should download our free app. And I was like, you know what, On-Demand Korea? I will download your free app because it says you have English subtitles, but no English subtitles are appearing. So I downloaded the app, and then I had to go through like a little bit of a series of events. It's all in Korean, but you can turn it into English if you like press the little person icon, then the little gear icon.
Just press Google translating everything.
I know. No, because it's in the app, so I can't even Google translate it in the app. And then if you press like the first option under the gear, because once you've made it there, that's the language option. You can press English. Okay. And then so it's like, okay, now I'm going to look it up and we'll see if it was lying to me about English subtitles. And I'm happy to tell you, it is not lying to you about English subtitles. You can watch them on the app, but you can't. Well, I couldn't on my iPad's browser. So, but the app is very nice once I understand what things were.
I don't think I've ever used their app at all.
Neither had I.
I've been to their like site, but very long time ago.
Yeah, and their site is a lot different now. Because I remember the last time I went to their site was probably before COVID. And it was
like right when, honestly, right when like Cocoa started getting big and stuff. Yeah, that's probably when I went.
And I went like right at the beginning of COVID, I think is probably the last time I went. And it was a mess. It was hard to find anything on Twitter. But now it's quite nice. It's like, it's really easy to like navigate and everything.
Yeah, I know,
it's totally fine.
It used to be like a more geared toward actual native Korean speakers because it kind of was like the way to watch Korean stuff when you weren't in Korea.
It still very much is, but there is now an option to turn the app into English, which then makes it any English speaker can also navigate. And the episodes were free with ads, so it's sort of like a Tubi experience to watch Strangers from Hell. I was very sad when they did take it off of Netflix.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would really enjoy this show.
Yeah. So for here in the United States, I'm like assuming you can do the on demand Korea. But it is currently for free on Roku station, or not even station. It's just like
the channel.
Roku has, like, if you never looked into this, you really should. Roku has a lot of like free things.
Yeah.
And so like part of it is like streaming channels where it's like basically one show and you can go to that channel and it's just like whatever playing an episode of that's what you can do. But then they additionally have like things you can watch on demand and with ads, and Strangers from Hell is one of them. I haven't looked at the other K-drama offerings, but in the like streaming channels, Vicky has this channel. There's a bunch of others. There's probably like 3 or 4 like Asian drama and then like a bunch of anime stuff.
Like when I have like a Roku, but I never watch things on my TV. So I was like, I'm not going to like hook up my TV just to like see if it's in Canada. So I was like, I'll do the next best thing by downloading.
Yeah, it might not, because like Roku does do the thing where it's kind of like sometimes it's only available for a certain time. Like they do get like pretty good movies sometimes, but like it's like limited, like I think like the Handmaid's Tale is now coming to Roku too.
Oh, nice.
So it's like it's got some good like
stuff.
options.
It's got some good
stuff. And it has this like
Strangers
specific
from Hell,
one,
which is good. And we are not sponsored by any of these places. I think we have to be very upfront with this. This isn't like a sneaky ad. We're not sponsored by anyone except the Found Family, patreon.com/certifiednews. We don't have sponsors, okay? Like,
we do not.
We'd be open to it, but no one has asked. You know, I think we're a little too niche.
I think so too.
Especially since like most people don't even like you know, we always film these for YouTube, but most people don't listen to us on YouTube. They're really like, we do much better numbers on the audio.
But you can't see us. You do
but you
better.
can if you want to. Like, you know, it's cool. We're fun. But anyway, we're gonna talk about how much we love Strangers from Hell for like the next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because this show, because it's not easily available on the big ones, I feel like it may have fallen out of fashion with some people, but I think we should bring it back into fashion.
And it's a little bit older too, and I guess like it is horror, like it is straight,
very much horror.
So that I think does deter a lot of people. But like if you are a fan of horror, like I really do think this is like one that like you should not be missing. So like it's definitely one that you should just go ahead and watch with ads. Like
because you'll enjoy it because it's literally one of my top rated dramas of all time, and that's not for a mistake. Like that's not just because I'm like, oh, I love Lee Dong-wook. Like I do, but also this show is incredible. So let's like I'm assuming at this point we can do our usual, like, there probably will be spoilers.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But also this show came out in 2019, so like
we might like get things maybe a little confused or like can't remember things.
Yeah, I haven't watched
it with us, but this is just going to be a little bit more of just kind of a general appreciation for it.
I definitely haven't watched this in at least 4 years, but I was like, what can Jessie and Natalia talk about for 45 minutes with absolutely no preparation? Strangers from Hell.
There you go. That's fine.
So let's take through the basic plot for anyone who hasn't seen it since 2019 and needs a little bit of a refresher. There is this dude, okay?
He's a kid.
He's a kid. He's in his 20s, and he's a country boy, just got out of the military, and his college friend is like, yo, your girlfriend lives in the city. You want a job? You can come to the city and get a job. And he's like, yes. But then he gets there, his girlfriend's like, you ain't living with me, so find your own place. And he's like, oh shit. And then he happens upon the worst boarding house you've ever seen in your life. This place is, but he's like, it's only going to be like 6 months while I save up for a deposit for a real apartment.
Yeah, and also to like, he is also giving money back to his mother as well. So like he's very strained on finances. So he doesn't have a lot of like choices, like in terms of housing situation.
Very limited. He was looking for what's called a goshuan, which is basically like a boarding house for like students and poor people. And boy, did he find one. So he finds this one.
He found one.
It's in a derelict building. It's basically going to get shut down in 6 months. And only one floor is still habitable, if we want to call it that. Yeah. And it's run by this matron who's got bad vibes. And bad vibes.
There's bad vibes at all aspects
of
this show.
Every single person that he meets in this, he tries to be friendly to. But they all have the most foul energy that you've ever experienced in your life. I do actually enjoy that they do call, like on MDL, on the synopsis, they call Lee Dong-wook's character a charismatic dentist. I guess he is a dentist. Charismatic might be a little far.
He is charismatic, especially when like he's in his dentist, like because I remember like very clearly the
like
cop
him, lady,
the cop later, like so I think like there's like that like kind of like mysterious vibe, but also he's very good looking, so I think like
I think a lot of it is just like it's just he's got natural face riz, you know, the face card always never declines, you know. But in terms of the rest of the residents of this place, he does seem at first glance more normal
to
than
the point where you're like,
them.
why is this guy here? He also like feels like he has more money than everybody else too. So you're like, why is he here?
Like, he's a dentist with a successful practice. So you're all questioning, rightfully so, why does he live in this derelict boarding house with these clearly shady cast of characters? People. Like, you've got a porn addict who just like creeps on everyone. You've got these 2 twin brothers that are not there. And then you've got this other slightly less weird but still very bad energy.
Yeah.
Like, dude in his 30s who lives
the other
there.
Like good-looking guy.
The other good-looking guy who's played by, who was he played by? This is like really good questions.
You definitely know him.
He's played by Lee Hyun-wook. No, is that? Yeah, Lee Hyun-wook. Very well, this sort of slightly creepy, off-putting dude. And then, of course, you've got the landlady played incredibly.
She's so good at this.
By Lee Jung-eun, who's like, listen, she's one of those actresses where it's like, even if you aren't aware you know her,
if there is going to be any sort of like town, she's like part of the townful. Like, she's always going to have a character. Like, she's just like one of those established actors.
And for
she's
any
like
of
always
you
going to be
who
there.
like click this, like not even wanting to watch it, but you're just like more interested in like Korean entertainment, she was the original maid in Parasite. If you're so that's like, she's well known. She's been in like 5 bajillion things. And then weird stuff just starts happening to this kid.
Yeah.
And then you very quickly find out that no one is going to really believe this kid because he is also suffering from severe PTSD from his time in the military, which gives him like bouts of like psychotic anger.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's trying his best.
He really is.
Like, he constantly
get
feels
over
like
it,
he's
but
being watched. There's weird stories about the immigrant fellow who used to live in his room but moved out suddenly, air quotes. And then I think it's probably about, this is a 10 episode show, and I think it's probably like episode, you only like really meet Lee Dong-wook in like episode 3 or 4. Like, he hasn't really like shown up.
I think it's like probably like end of episode 2-ish.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The way that the show is structured is really interesting because you actually, the first scene of the show, I love when shows do this. The first scene of the show is actually the beginning of the last scene of the show. So you're seeing the aftermath of everything that leads up to the final climax of like, so it's like the beginning of the climax is the first thing you see, which is him being thrown through a door. And then it like hard cuts to like him with his little suitcase coming to town, like it's
getting off the bus and trying
getting off the bus in the big city, the country boy, he's coming to town. But the second semi-good looking dude who lives in this apartment building, straight up when you first meet Lee Dong-wook's character, is Lee Dong-wook being like, you aren't following the rules, and him being like, no, I can do better. And then Lee Dong-wook just straight up gangs his ass.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the show takes a weird turn because you up until this moment have thought that this second dude is the problem in this apartment building. The main problem. No. You very quickly, this is where the big spoilers begin. You very quickly find out that Lee Dong-wook is a serial killer, but he doesn't really kill people himself that much. He has basically formed a cult of personality around himself with the other members of this apartment building who are all very clearly either like not mentally all there. One of them even has brain damage. Like, they're all clearly easy to brainwash, and has created an entire murder cabal in this apartment building. And his main goal in this whole show is
to fall in love with M. Shi-won's character.
He falls in love with M. Shi-won. That's very clear. That, like, that's incredibly clear that he sees this kid and is like, delicious.
Mine. Not in a going to kill you, but
no, mine in a going to love you in my very fucked up way. And so, but the only way that he can truly possess Im Shi-won as a lover is to also embrace him in their murder family.
Yeah. And also kind of be like, the protector to him, because like he is being targeted by the other people.
He's like, but I can save you from the other people.
This person is like, coming in and being his hero. Yeah, and he's like the normal person that like,
he's
just a little
dentist.
bit more mysterious.
He's good looking. He
and
does
like, you can just like look at him and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll follow you.
And then Im Shi-won, understandably, does not want this, and so is trying to like get help, but because of his own mental instability, no one actually really believes him that because it's too absurd to think about.
Yeah.
So everyone's just like, no, like, and you're like, oh, you wanting to write mystery stories, like you're a bit of a creative, you're letting things, his girlfriend's kind of not really that into him.
Well, like also the girlfriend is very clearly in a role at work where like she's literally has no time. So like there are times when she's like, she literally can't, you're seeing like, this is part of like kind of illusion or whatever. Like we keep on going in and out of what like Im Shi-won's character is like seeing the world as like, he kind of like, you see it as like the girlfriend not liking him, but the girlfriend is very clearly like stressed from work and doing like super long hours. So when he's like calling to like talk to her, she's like literally like, I only have like a couple of hours to sleep. I've got to sleep. This is like a crazy work schedule,
which is very understandable.
Yeah.
And it really just sort of, what I really liked about this is it's not one of those shows that is like, oh, who's the actual killer? Like, no, it straight up tells you who he is, because that actually makes everything else happening in the show more tense. Because it's not like, oh, you're not tense because you don't know who to trust. You're tense because you can see sort of this ring of menace.
Well, I will say that I think you are tense because you don't know Im Shi-won's character, like how to trust his mental or what he's viewing at. Because like the show does a really good thing. It's like where everything that is going on, you can make it so that Im Shi-won's character is making it up in his brain. Like every single thing that's happening, whether it's real or not, like you can like justify it as like him. So you're like, is this an unreliable like narrator situation? But then also the entire like show does this really suffocating thing where like keeps you in this like unnerving like area of emotions that really like lends to the like just like drainingness of this entire show.
And then about halfway through the show, they introduce a new character, which I thought was a fun little thing of just a normal guy, like a legitimate normal college student.
Just,
who just moves in. And Im Shi-won's like, no, you gotta go. Im Shi-won's like, you gotta get out of here.
Please.
Dude, please. And he's like, what? No, the dentist seems really nice. Like, everyone's really friendly. And he's like, no, please leave. Like, you don't understand the psychological hell we're in. And he was played by No Jong-hyun very cutely. He actually just was in an Undercover High School, which I've been really enjoying watching. Like, he's just this innocent little musician, like, moving in. And I thought that was just such a funny addition because it's sort of like what Im Shi-won could have been.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that was like
him in like a good mental place and also not being like a huge introvert, because this again is one of like one's like
yeah,
introvert characters, you know?
Yeah, he has a hard time connecting with people, and he has a hard time communicating with people, which a lot due to him suffering severe abuse while in the military. Okay.
His tie to what happened in the military is actually a very, very big prevalent thing about this show too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think like a lot of people like it would expect, especially coming into the show, like his like PTSD on the things that he witnessed in his time is part or almost all of the reason it leads him to his path.
Yeah.
Not to say that like the characters in the building aren't like doing shit too,
doing shit, because they are 100%.
But like he probably could have like easily gotten out of this if he was just in a mental state that was like, okay, maybe not, maybe I'll just like sit on the floor for a little bit, like you know, just like
he's not very equipped for modern life.
Yeah,
which I think a lot of people aren't, because you can tell like he's meant to be like neurodivergent, like
and he's young, and he's like definitely like someone who's like grew up in a small town, like farming town situation, and he like this is a really hard transition culturally to come to like this big of a town, you know, or city, and he's got a lot of like, you know, they're like want to be a provider to his mom and his sister, isn't it? Like, isn't there a sister? I forgot.
I feel like there's a sister,
So like he like there's a lot like that he's trying to juggle that he definitely is not remotely, not even just on like a plane level, just like mentally, like can't do.
And like he's, you know, not having a good time at his new job, because it's very clear that his college friend who gave it to him does not actually respect him that much as a person.
No, because he thought it was going to be a real job, and it's like basically an intern position that he told nobody at the company that he was going to be, because they're all like, why are you here?
Yeah. And so like the whole thing is really he's very relatable in a way, like to someone who has a bunch, like, because everyone at some point feels like the deck is stacked against him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in his case, the deck is so stacked against him, and he's such an unreliable narrator to everyone who knows him outside of this apartment building, that it sort of primes him for being in the situation that he's in.
Absolutely.
With this charismatic older dentist.
Because like there are a lot of times where he could just leave. Like it's not like he's like kind of like
trapped in there
in terms of like
him in.
Yeah, they don't lock him in. He goes outside to go like to his job every day. Yeah, it's like, so it's not like he's like scared to, I mean, like he's scared when he walks past the people, but it's not like stopping him from
they're
walking past him. So they're
not grabbing him.
There's like not a lot of like actual like
it's
physical,
it's just the
like
vibes are bad.
Yeah,
the vibe. He's in a prison of his own making at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the thing. It's hard to like explain, especially to like non-horror people who may be wanting to like get into more horror stuff. It's hard to explain the chokehold this drama has on my psyche. It's everything about it. The way it's filmed, it's not filmed in like a really crisp, pleasant way, obviously, but like it's filmed in sort of it's not found footage. Like it is like
it's just like more like shakier It's not like
it feels more rustic or like
transitions or anything like that.
Yeah. The entirety of the show is filmed so that you are somehow like mentally with him the entire time. Like the lighting, the music, the framing, everything makes you be part, almost like your brain is a passenger inside his brain.
Yeah, like you're almost looking through his eyes, but like you still see him. Like you physically see. It's not like ever
like you're a
actually
little ghost on his shoulder watching what he's doing. But you feel like you're being oppressed by it as well, which which is where my first recommendation is: do not binge this show.
I did it. I watched it in one day.
Listen, I also did, but we're weird people. Okay?
Yeah, it was great. It was like
it was
like,
incredible. It was, but
what a great day.
Listen, we binge this sort of shit all the time, but just maybe someone who is like, oh, I really love Im Shawan, or I really love Lee Dong-wook. I want to.
I think if you're like a horror person, like you're not like a horror person, like if you are not a horror person and you've never actually like spent time with like more atmospheric horror, I think this is like what it's going to get you, because it's like atmospheric horror is akin to like jump scares, but in an entirely different way, and it just like gets you in like ways, like in plays with your senses that like is so much different than the like I think what like normally people think of horror, like those jump scares where you're just like, I'm waiting for someone to jump out of the corner. This like the way it builds and the way it suffocates, like and it does it throughout the series and does it so well to like keep on building and building, so that not only are you like getting more uncomfortable with like the reveals of what the characters are doing and what's happening, or like the way that like his mental status is like nosediving completely. It like just like adds to like another level of watching this show that like takes it to something like entirely different than if it was just you watching what is going on like physically on the screen.
And a lot of it, it's like, so when you're watching something that has like a jump scare, like it's just like a momentary, and then it's almost like you then it's like a humor response almost, because then you're like, oh, they got me. This one, it's always like you're in the moment of that jump scare and you never get to the oh, they got me part.
Yeah, there's no like resolve in it.
They just been getting you. They just been getting you the whole time. So like strangely enough, I was actually going to suggest, and then I remembered something came to my mind, and I was like, of course I was going to suggest this. If someone is like looking to get more into this genre of like sort of a thriller horror atmospheric thing, I was like, oh, they should probably start with Save Me and then try this one if Save Me was okay.
That's a great idea.
So I feel like this would be a good, like, Save Me would be this without as much. This doesn't have a lot of gore. Like, I don't want to say there is some gore, because
especially towards the end. Horror, like I will say that like it does get there.
Yeah, it does get pretty, but not like.
But it's not all the time.
Yeah, it's not all the time. But it has like the same sort of like overwhelming feeling of being oppressed that the show gives.
Because in Save Me, it's because the characters are so bad and you're so desperate for her to get out of that situation. Yeah.
And in this one, it's just the situation is so bad and you don't see a way for him to get out. Like every time he tries, he sabotages himself. And
this is like such a great study on like how the fine line between Save Me, which is not a horror, it's a thriller, and this is like a horror, and the line
they're so close to the line.
It's just so crazy.
And then I was thinking to myself, I wonder why my brain immediately thought of Save Me. It's because Save Me and Strangers from Hell are written by the same screenwriter. And I'm like, that's Jung Yi-do, who hasn't actually, like, on MDL, he doesn't have a lot of credits. But 3 of his credits are things I really enjoy. He has 4 credits in total, which was Save Me in 2017, Item in 2019, which was a really fun thriller.
I only watched a couple of episodes of that, but I liked it.
Strangers from Hell, and then Dark Hole, which I haven't seen. I keep meaning to. I've heard mixed reviews.
It was okay. It's definitely not my favorite of his.
Yeah,
like,
of his 4, the 4 that he has on MDL.
And like Strangers from Hell are top, and the like Dark Hole was like 7.5.
Yeah, and then the director did The Vanished and also A Killer Paradox, which just came out on Netflix, which is another horror, but more not really a horror. It is a horror, but it's not a horror. But anyway, it's a serial killer thing. Yeah. Which clearly he's got a thing, okay? But
and The Vanished.
I always remember when this was announced, okay? I distinctly remember this. where a lot of people were like, Lee Dong-wook in a horror, like Lee Dong-wook is a villain, like unbelievable, like he's gonna do a terrible job. And I was sitting there like, no, I think I'll be fine. Aww. And then everyone had to eat their words because he pulled off the greatest villain in a horror I've seen in a long time. Like it's not even the first time you meet him. The minute I was sold, there's this one scene where they're eating eggs,
this is such
and it is his menacing smile that like then Im Shi-won characters blinks and the smile is gone.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was like, okay.
I mean, oh gosh,
okay,
yeah.
I see.
And just his like the way he plays with him during that scene too. It's just like you're like, I see what we're doing here. He managed to
perfect Predator. Like from the moment you see them interact, it's predator and prey the rest of the time. And it is crazy how good he was.
Yes.
Like, and I just remember sitting there being like, nah, I thought he would be okay.
Yeah,
but he was not okay. He was incredible. But listen, this happens all the time when someone who doesn't normally do a genre.
Yeah, and everybody's like,
why would they cast him? Like, there's so many better actors. And then they pull out the greatest performance of their lives. And everyone's like, oh, I knew he could do it the whole time. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I have eyes and a memory. I saw you. You can delete your but I brain.
I saw it. You thought you could get away with it.
I saw what you were up to.
Listen,
we're not calling anyone. We're not calling
things. No, because
no one.
I think most of the people
we don't
even
call
like people that we know
on this. No. But yeah, I was just like, but then again, at the same time, of like the drama watchers that Jessie and I are friends with, like we were the only two. We were the only two really excited to watch this drama. Like we've now at the time that it came out. We've now expanded our friend group, and there are more.
Yeah, but really, we were like we were
watching it as it aired. No, we weren't. We binged
I didn't watch it.
It
was after.
I watched it like right when it. I'm into the binge life, as we know. But this show since 2019 has had just an absolute chokehold in my brain.
I mean, like it's MDL, so like take that with a grain of salt. But like MDL really likes it. The people on here really like it. I mean, there's still comments. Like Natalia was just like reading me one within from, like the past week. Yeah.
So like people do still be watching it. And I feel like right now it's probably like a time when more people would be interested in watching it who maybe have come to dramas after it came out because Im Shi-won was in Squid Games and people who like Squid Games
and who are searching like clicking on his profile and trying to find something
because like Im Shi-won does play a good played a good villain. He's played in movies like Im Shi-won's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
I was literally telling my husband yesterday, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like one of the best actors under 40 in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Like easily. And so like anything he makes, he's incredible in. But also like, Lee Dong-wook has shows come out all the time. People fucking love him. So it's like, it's really easy for you to, especially if you're open to lots of genres, that if you even just recently started watching K-dramas, like to be like, oh, I saw this guy and I'm going to check out some more of his stuff. And, you were on, Vicky and you watched Touch Your Heart and we're like, oh, I really loved him.
Well, I mean, I guess they could have watched A Shop for Killers.
That's true. That would actually be a slightly more appropriate bridge to this. Than maybe Touch Your Heart. I was just thinking, what would be the funniest transition? Like the hardest cut,
or like bubblegum or whatever. Like what is like if someone is older?
Okay, that drama. Sometimes we talk about like deceptive marketing practices in dramas. everything about that drama made me think I was about to watch a rom-com. And I watched a like harrowing drama about like mother-daughter relationships and like terminal illness. I was like, what the hell are we doing?
Like, they lure you in and then they're like, nope.
But it's like, you know, people watch Goblin and they're like, I gotta see what this Grim Reaper's up to. Well, he'd be sending people to the Grim Reaper is what he'd be up to, like in his other oeuvre. But this one, like, there's something special about Strangers from Hell.
Yeah.
And it was, we were big fans of OCN, which is, for anyone who is new, might not even know. I know. Listen, they don't have to feel the sadness that we feel.
I guess so. They don't have
basically it was a like prestige television company that primarily made crime thrillers.
Their
and
like
horror.
Angle was interesting because their angle was to produce TV shows that were at like movie quality level. But then they kind of just stayed in a genre. Like they stayed in the dark genres. Like, which then made it like really great for like people like us, because like we were like, oh,
we're big fans.
This is what I want to be and this is where I want to be. But like, it's interesting. And like there's a lot of OCN dramas that are very good. Like I was trying to find like random information about this drama. Obviously, like it's harder to find. You can't find it. I was just trying to find some fun trivia and I couldn't. But the drama that was airing before this one was Watcher, which is an incredible drama. Like, so we were like really in a time when we had, well, OCN wasn't that available because OCN was like notoriously the one where you could not find it subbed, but like it's not like now where it's dead.
Yeah.
So, and you would be seeing these types of shows on like TVing.
Yeah.
Like it's got kind of moved there.
And they made, you know, like the
Voices series is there. Bad Guys series.
The Uncanny Counter was one of their last ones.
Like, I mean.
And our old friend Save Me was also there. So they did like a lot of really, you know, like a lot of like The Guest, Missing, the other side, which just got added to Netflix. So like, you know, Tunnel, Blind. Oh, I love Blind. Kill It. Like just basically they really perfected the art of a crime thriller.
Yes.
And then they also made a rom-com with Sung Hoon that was quite funny.
Which I just saw on the Blue Sky, someone talking about it. Yeah, and it was so like, whoa. Funny.
Because the little side effect about this one, so they were so known for crime dramas that when they put out a teaser for this rom-com they decided to make, they initially styled like it was like they made like a joke teaser that was like it's like from the studios that brought you like, and there's all these crime dramas.
I really loved OCN's like social media because they were so funny on Instagram. Funny. They would do the like for the shows they would do the like character maps. You know how people do character maps for relationships for like rom-coms.
It would be for like murders. Like they were so funny.
So funny.
And I
do like a Valentine's Day like themed like video teaser, and it's just like all lovey-dovey, and it's all like. Darkest.
They were
so good.
I miss them. Like if they had done Devil Judge, which was TVN, like you know they would have been putting out the romantic vibes between the two dudes. Like that was the type of, and so like it's we're actually poor. Television is poorer for it that they don't. Because when they said they were going to put out prestige television, they put out prestige television.
They really
I think
did.
It just got like during COVID, like because
I think it just was during COVID.
I think it was a financial situation because their prestige got too expensive for lockdowns.
Because I don't think it was like the content, because we're seeing
because
content like now more readily on like other stations.
Like
too.
now it's sort of been taken up by like the individual streaming services themselves, like Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff are the ones that are like making that stuff. Like The Killer Paradox, which was written or directed by the same guy as Strangers from Hell, like that would have been an OCN drama. You know what I mean?
Like I would say like moving probably would have been.
Yeah, moving honestly, definitely would have been OCN.
Like honestly, like most of like Disney Hulu's like darker dramas are probably very close to OCN. Close.
So I feel like they may have hired a lot of the same people to run these new, because that just would make sense. Like you don't want to just like ruin what was clearly like just not hire what was clearly incredible like talent, right?
Sure.
But yeah, Strangers from Hell. We got to bring it back.
Yeah,
we go on these little journeys together. This drama really, it's hard to like talk about why it's so good, because everything you say makes you sound kind of deranged when you say why it's good. Because it's like, oh my goodness, like the serial killing, you understood exactly how he managed to get away with it. Like it was, like it was so well done from you understood his motivations, you understood what he was about. And it's like, it, in a way that they don't really spend a lot of time doing in a lot of serial killer dramas.
And like, I think like they like showed how easy it was, because he put himself in a position where it could be easy, where like people were led astray. And you saw that like with the cops that were investigating what's going on, because the cops first start investigating this area because there's a lot of cats that have been killed, and like they never show it, but they're like people are calling it in because it's so disturbing how the cats are being left, right? And so like the cops are like in this like area because of it. And then you find out that the only connection is that the person who's doing it is in the building. It's not like connection to hit like any of the other, but like that's one like way like it like leads you astray to see like maybe it's like one of these people doing all the killings, or like other things that just kind of happen that you kind of see through the like cop characters while they're like trying to figure out what's going on in this area that they kind of have this like weird like vibe in, and it like leads you astray, but like not in a way like it's obviously intentional, but it's not like the show doesn't make it feel like it's trying to dumb you like into like thinking these things. It's just kind of like, well, you could think that like it's there, like, but like it's also this. And like I think that the way that they handled that, it was like it was never kind of like I find sometimes when they have these like little things that they do to try to like take you off the scent of what's really going on, it can like feel just like you tried to do something and like I like it didn't work, and I just like feel annoyed that like you even tried it. Like I'm just like, I'm not that dumb. I realized that like that's not it. Like it was just like all these weird stuff, because like the people in his building are like still terrible people and are still like all capable of murder.
It's and like there's a reason like he managed to like get them to do
but they're also so far below him in like intelligence and social and stuff like that like they basically have to like because that those are the people who are physically like attached to like not being able to like leave what they're doing. Like
I sort of like I liken his character to how people talk about Ted Bundy, where they're like, oh, Ted Bundy managed to get away with it because he was so good looking and charismatic. But then you actually look at Ted Bundy and see videos of him and you're like, no, he wasn't. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's just kind of more like he was just like average. It wasn't who you expect. It like you go into the show and you're like, clearly this person who's like weird or like
creepy
weird
sex offender definitely must be it.
Definitely it.
And then it's
or like the even when you have the good looking guy, he's still like very off-putting. Like he feels like he's just not a good guy. So you're like, it's him, but then it doesn't end up being that.
Yeah. Whereas then you have like, Lee Dong-wook's character, who's a dentist, who's nice to children.
Yeah, he's part of the society.
He opens the door for women. He's a respected member of the community, and he is genuinely good looking, unlike Ted Bundy, who is average at best. Okay. Yeah. Every time I see that, I'm always just like, who's saying this?
Because people want the killers to be gross to them. They want.
They don't want to recognize that.
Want to understand that, like, killers come in all
like, they want to pretend that inner evil will show on your face.
Yeah. You or like you personally
will be able to identify.
Would be able to identify it and know.
And that's
because
that's
you're intelligent.
That's what I kind of like about this, is that the only one who immediately clocks that this guy is bad news is Im Soo-won's character, but nobody believes him because he's not a respected member of society, and they basically lump him in with all of these these weirdos, for lack of a better word, who live in the same building as him.
And he's so interested in him too. Like, there's a part of Im Soo-won's character that wants to be him, and it's not just in a like culty way. Like,
he wishes he had the charisma. He wishes he had the job. He wishes he had the self-assured manner. He wishes he was not at the bottom of the totem pole, essentially. He doesn't want to be struggling. He didn't struggle. Because this guy's not struggling. He lives in this building because he wants to, not because he has
he wants that freedom. And like, he can go in to his job when he wants to, because he's the one who's going to make the appointments. And like, if he wants to have no appointments during a certain time, he can. Like, it's very like flashy. Like, it's very like something that, like, if you are down on your luck, like Jean's character is, then like, you're definitely going to be super interested in it, even when it's like a bad thing. It's kind of like, like what is that, like the fable of like the frog and the alligator,
the scorpion and the frog?
Is it the scorpion? No, the one that's like takes him across the
the scorpion and then
it's the alligator, right?
I don't know. Listen, I feel
he keeps taking him like the alligator that takes him across the water like multiple times, and he does it, and he doesn't like attack him or anything, and then like finally does.
Yeah,
someone's gonna say something.
Listen. We aren't here to talk about allegories that much usually.
It's crazy. I have no brain.
Listen, I'm tired and my brain don't work good. Okay?
Yeah.
It was rainy all day. That made me sad.
Yeah. But like, Im Soo-won's character is like, he logically knows like that this is not a good person, even if he doesn't know to the extent that it is. He just like, he knows, but he's so down on his luck and so just not. He's basically like at the point of like giving up on life entirely. So he's like, at the end of the day, he's interesting. He's someone I can find like kinship, air quotes, with in this building that I'm not finding in any other person in my life and in this building. So I'll take the bad. Yeah. And also they love each other,
Also there's a sexual tension there. Yeah.
They're so they just spend their time on the rooftop.
There's a lot of really psychosexual scenes in this drama.
Just them like long drawn out conversations.
Okay. Or like they'll be showering together and you're like, I
understand. I get what you're trying and couldn't do fully. I get it.
Because of just listen, this was a rated R OCN drama. They could have. But actually it wasn't rated R. It was only rated 15+. I'm just looking at MDL now. That's crazy. Let's be real.
Society, even if it's OCN, it's still not. Like,
but also like Lee Dong-wook knew the assignment. He knew he was a gay dentist. And he was just like, he's constantly calling him like Jagia. Yeah. And like, which for anyone new, that just basically means like honey, husband, wife, like lover. Yeah. The show is incredible.
It's so good.
And I think, like, I know a lot of people at the time watched it. And I don't want to be one of those who's like, oh, it's so underrated. Like, no, it's not underrated. Everyone loves it, but it is from 2019. So a lot of people have not seen it.
Yeah, it's not being like talked about currently.
I think a lot of people would really enjoy it if they knew it existed. Mm-hmm. And right now, since it's only on in North America, On Demand Korea, and the Roku channel, it's a little harder to stumble upon. But we want to do our part. We want to do our part.
Yeah.
And tell people
it's still there.
To watch Strangers from Hell. It's free. You can watch it for free. It's with ads, but for free.
But like, you know what? We grew up having to watch things.
Yeah, we had to watch commercials too.
With seasons where we didn't get to like a resolution for a whole summer. Like,
yeah. And also, I'm not going to say what the ending is. But when I tell you the last scene of this drama is fucking crazy, okay? I was just like, you're going to love it, okay? Like, I don't even think we spoiled that much. Like,
I don't think we did either. But like, for that ending part, I didn't know this show was only 10 episodes too, so it was real.
You thought there were 2 more episodes.
Well, like, going into it, like, so like I wasn't like prepared for it, like, this to be the final act, you know, the final like
it comes at you hard, man.
Yeah, and it's
like the ending of this drama is hog wild. Okay.
It really is.
It's crazy. And I think more people should watch Strangers from Hell if they haven't already. Yes. And I know that it seems like we've spoiled everything. We haven't even gotten struck through the surface, okay? Well, also, knowing all of this.
Most of this you can't experience unless you watch it. Like we can tell you every bit detail about the ambiance, all the things that happen, but you cannot get it unless you are actually physically watching it. Just because what's not going to happen.
Fascinating is that a lot of these types of crime horrors, they're very plot driven. Like, who is the killer? Will you get away from the killer? Will the killer succeed? In this one, it doesn't actually matter that you know who the killer is going in. It doesn't matter that you know all of these people, because it's the experience of watching it is what the drama is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the plot of what the drama, like what's happening. It's the way that the drama is made to make you experience it. That is what makes it so good. Because like at the end of the day, the plot is real basic. Like it's not like a complicated.
And we're also not going to very different places too. We're very like you know, it's the apartment.
80% of this is in this apartment building.
And maybe like a cab sometimes. Like it's very limited. And it's
incredibly, the scope of it is incredibly small, but the experience of watching it is what makes, I think, this like a gold standard of horror.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I can watch a lot of horror and I don't really get emotionally invested in it because I'm like, okay, yeah, well, this is fun, you know, like when we were doing Project Wolf Hunting, you should check out that episode. We had a fun time with it. I wasn't emotionally invested in Project Wolf.
Much more.
That one was just gore, like just gore. It also had one of the finest marketing bait and switches I've ever seen in my life. So like, it really made you think that Zoe Gook was the lead on that movie, didn't it? It really did. But anyway, you should go check out that episode if you want. But like, this is like it gets you immediately emotionally invested in what's happening in a way that I don't see that often in any genre. How quickly I was like, I care about this poor dumbass. like girl, you in danger was like, that's the whole vibe. If you're watching,
I just want to be your big sister.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to help you. You can stay on my couch. Please get out of this situation.
It's just like so easy to get out of this situation, and there's so few steps, and he can't
do it. It's a fascinating drama.
Yeah, and I guess it's also, I guess we could like play with it like it's an allegory for his PTSD from and
so at the end of the day, the real lesson of Strangers from Hell is that conscripting people not mentally able to succeed in a military setting is a terrible idea.
Can really just set them up for
just let them volunteer.
Failure.
Let them volunteer somewhere, like at an old folks' home. Don't do this to people.
Also, like DP does this, but like there are things going on in those areas.
Abuse is rife in the military setting worldwide. This isn't like a Korea problem. This is a worldwide issue. But like it's a fascinating drama. And obviously, since it's like a 6-year-old drama that we've decided, like, we were like, what could we talk about for an hour without any preparation? It was like, Strangers from Hell. Like, obviously, it has stuck with us. So you should check it out on Demand Korea or the Roku channel, or if you got that big box and you don't like ads, I guess you can rent it on Apple TV.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it for how long?
Yeah, like 2 weeks or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know how the rental. I've never rented a damn thing on Apple TV. Like,
not on Apple TV, on iTunes when iTunes was still like remain sure, but like
that's been. Listen, we're dating ourselves here, Jessie. So we're dating ourselves. We're elders. Elderly. Anyway, I hope you had a good time hanging out with us. You know, we love having you. We love talking about stuff. We will be back next week. What will the episode be about? We actually, listen, there's some stuff going on. It
actually might not be what we...
It might not be what is...
Actually, maybe we should say it's not.
It's probably not what's on our schedule. It'll probably be the two of us again, and we'll probably have some other nonsense planned.
It was something that was very timely. Listen, okay, we'll spoil a little bit, but it was like supposed to be for my birthday, and then we didn't get to do my birthday. It was timely for my birthday, but now news has come out that it's even more
timely. So like, this episode, it is a music-themed episode, and it will come out sometime in the next 2 months. Sometime in the next 2 months, we will make that happen.
Yes.
Okay, but as of right now, I can't even give you I sometimes do little spoilers for what next week's episodes are. I don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know.
Maybe we should just like discuss what we should do after
we finish recording. We'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you for listening to us. We will be back next week with an episode of some type.
Just something.
Some type. We don't know yet. Some type. And you can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found. Basically, we're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Google. Is Google Podcast still a thing? I don't know. If it is, but we do through Podbean. So if you're a Podbean listener and you're seeing us somewhere else, you can find us there too. You can, whatever. That's what we do. But we're also on YouTube in video, even. I made some snazzy in air quotes, little overlays for this episode. And we do every week. They're in all the places. And of course, you can go to our website, certifiednotice.com, where there'll be time codes and links. So if you don't want to Google On Demand Korea, you can just go to certifiednotice.com and you can just click it and it'll take you there. Sure. But anyway, and if you want to support this podcast, like all the incredible people who do, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas to join the Found Family. They're our Found Family on the web. We do little mini episodes. We have a movie night every month. It's a good time. We watched a very fun movie last month.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
So much fun. I wonder, I don't know what we're watching yet this month.
No, we haven't figured that out.
Yeah. But it's always a good time, and you get special channels just for you on our Discord, which you should also join. I believe a link is in the description or it's on our website. It's easy. Yeah. It's easy to find. Anyway, we hope you have a great week. Maybe you should get your little keister over to check out the real oppressive nature of Strangers from Hell, the greatest K-drama that's ever been made. No, okay. It is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty
of all time.
The greatest BL of all time. It is pretty great. Anyway, we hope you have a great week. That you take it easy and wear a mask, especially if you're out in public doing some stuff, whatever. Wear a mask. Think about your community and you don't want measles. I'm just saying, you don't want measles. So you might as well just wear a mask and wash your hands and carry hand sanitizer. You know what I mean? Easy peasy.
Lysol, everybody.
Yeah, Lysol, just Lysol everything.
Just wash.
And as always, keep enjoying Asian entertainment. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.